All right. Well, one of the reasons we're doing this Jude in July class is to have time to talk in a little more detail about some features of the text. And this last week we translated from verse 2, eleos humin, kai erene, kai agape, plethun theie, right? We do very literally, mercy to you all, and peace and love be multiplied. So we smooth that out and say, may mercy, peace, and love be multiplied unto you. And many of you probably are using a reader's edition or Bible software, and that last word there, plethunthea, you maybe didn't know that, it's from plethuno. And if you look it up or you hover over it with your cursor, you'll be told that it's an optative, right? An optative. And it's an aorist passive optative. It's a third person singular. May it be multiplied, right? Thinking of those three things together as mercy, peace, and love together. May they be multiplied unto you. And let me remind you that the optative is a mood of the Greek New Testament. And talking about mood, we're not talking about you forgot to eat breakfast and so you're grumpy now, right? That's a different kind of mood. When you have the mood of a verb, you're talking about we change the spelling of the verb to communicate the verb's the relationship of the action and the verb to reality. For example, we could put a verb in the imperative mood. In the imperative mood, we're saying we want the action to become reality. We're either commanding or requesting that action is reality, right? We're changing the spelling of the verb to communicate that is the relationship between the action and the verb in reality. We're commanding it or requesting it. Now, the indicative mood, the first mood students learn, that's where the author or the speaker is presenting the action as reality. Now, they may be presenting it because it factually is going on right then, it is reality, or they may be presenting it for consideration of, let's assume for a moment this is reality and let's consider this. Or, like someone can lie about reality as well, right? The devil can lie in the indicative mood and present something as reality when it's not reality. So, but the speaker is presenting the action as reality, at least for consideration. Then you think about the other moods that you have in the New Testament. You have the subjunctive mood. The subjunctive mood often leaves something open. Sometimes it's called a mood of probability, but sometimes the subjunctive mood is used for something that's very strong, emphatic negation. And so there's just certain constructions. They often leave something open, or they're future oriented. If this were to happen, when this happens, if someone were to do this, I'm not telling you who's doing it maybe or when it's going to happen, or something is left open or undetermined many times in the subjunctive mood. The optative mood is the rarest of the moods in the New Testament. And the optative mood is most commonly, it has several uses, but the most common usage in the New Testament is a wish or a desire or a prayer or a curse, right? May no one ever eat fruit from you again, Jesus said to the fig tree, and that's the optative. Paul says, shall we sin more that grace abounds? Me genoita, may it never be, may it never happen. So a strong wish, a strong desire, or a sort of a blessing. There's an archaic or formulaic type feeling to the optative. It's not common, it's falling out of usage in the Koine period. It only occurs 68 times in the New Testament, only 68 optatives. 15 of those are that stylized expression, me genoita, may it never happen, may it never be, right? And Paul uses that 14 of the 15 times with the me genoita. I'm going to pull over here and look at some statistics from the deeper Greek grammar that I worked on with Andreas Kostenberger and Ben Merkel. As we noted already, there are only 68 occurrences of the optative in the New Testament, and this optative of wish or desire or prayer is more formally called the voluntative optative. And within the New Testament, of those 68 occurrences of the optative, 45 are aorist and 23 are present. So it's similar to the subjunctive, where with the subjunctive, really the only game in town in the New Testament. Of course, there's a footnote. Yes, we know there's a few perfect subjunctives, but really the only game in town with the subjunctive is the aorist and the present. Aorist and present subjunctive, and the aorist is the statistics are overwhelmingly favor of the aorist. There are about 2/3 of the subjunctives in the New Testament are aorist, about 1/3 are presents. It's about the same, right, with the optative. 45 of the optatives are aorist, and 23 are presents. Of the 68 optatives in the New Testament, 35 of them are classified as voluntative optatives, these optatives of wish or desire or prayer. And of course, the one we're looking at here in Jude, verse 2, is an example of this, right? And you do find the optative in this way many times at the beginning of a letter, at the end of a letter, in sort of a formulaic blessing or a doxological type statement. Occasionally, I'll have that very diligent student, I have one right now, who says, hey, can you show me all the different conjugations of the optative? And if you look in most New Testament grammars, even very good advanced grammars, rarely will they include this because the forms don't occur enough to really warrant the attention. So I actually plan to bring this tomorrow to class to show the student. If you get the Cambridge Grammar of Classical Greek, it has very nice charts that give all the different forms of the optative with different verb variations and so on. So I'll be bringing this to show Silas tomorrow, so that he can his curiosity can be sated by looking at all these exhaustive charts of the optative. But for the New Testament, usually if you're reading a sort of formulaic section and you see a form that has a diphthong between the ending and the main part of the verb, it has a epsilon iota, an A, or an alpha iota, an I, an omicron iota, an oi, you should think to yourself, I bet this is an optative. And it may be the only one you read for a while because the optative is not especially common.